Hi, you guys. Erin here, back with another moon update for you. We are having a new moon coming up this Wednesday, March 2nd at 9:34 a.m. Pacific time. This new moon takes place in the sign of Pisces, the very spiritual sign of Pisces. Now, there is a lot of other stuff obviously going on in the world, and I will get into some of that. But for this recording, I mostly want to focus on this is an opportunity to expand our spiritual growth, to set our intentions for growth in the Piscean ways. Okay. That's what happens when we have a new moon. It's a new time for new beginnings. Okay. So the sign of Pisces, very appropriately represented by the two fish that are tied together, because one is in the spirit realm, the other is in the physical. The one in the spirit realm wants to be happy, swimming around in utopia. And this guy's like, wait, we are having this very human, physical experience here. We've got some responsibilities to take care of. So he's holding this guy here on earth. Pisces rules the feet. You can very much, it's like, imagine it as Pisces has one foot in the spirit realm and the other in the physical. People who have a lot of Pisces energy in their natal chart have this tendency to want to go off into daydream land, which can be very, very good for the Pisces, by the way. If you are a Pisces, or if you've got a lot of Pisces energy in your natal chart, it is perfectly okay to go off into your dreamland from time to time. Sometimes it can be impossible to stay focused with this Piscean energy, but there's times for that. Okay. Now that sign of Pisces is also, it's ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. And that's what's making this new moon so incredibly profound, because Neptune and Jupiter are also in the sign of Pisces. And it's a very, very rare occurrence. It's like every 150 years or something like that, where we've got both the Pisces rulers and the sun and the moon in the sign of Pisces. Okay. So Neptune is kind of like the ruler of dreams. That's what brings Pisces, this very, very mystical, dreamy energy, rules the subconscious. Jupiter is like the ruler of faith and compassion. Okay. So Pisces has this very strong tendency to have a lot of compassion. In fact, it's the mutable water sign. Okay, so by mutable, I mean that this energy is very, very adaptable. This mutable water, Pisces can have a very tough time staying on track with something, because so many little things, it's like swimming along, the little fish is swimming along, there's something shiny over here, swimming to that something shiny, and then something more shiny is over here. Oh wait, I want to swim over there. But the water element is what brings in a lot of feelings and emotions. And with Jupiter being one of the rulers, there can be this strong tendency to have immense compassion for other people. Now, it's again this very mystical and spiritual and very intuitive energy. This Pisces energy can be very psychic, really, because of the feelings and the emotions, like feeling other people, that sort of thing. Okay. Now Pisces is also, I'm talking about all these wonderful things about the sign of Pisces, but it's very unearthly. It's very ungrounded. And not only that, but there can be this strong tendency for delusions and illusions and magic. And there is this tendency, especially with all this Pisces energy coming down right now, for us all to kind of a little bit be deluded. I mean, I don't mean to sound cruel or anything, but there is a strong tendency for us to fall for illusions and fall for magic and fall for things that really aren't even real. So for this new moon, it's really important that we focus on our own internal spiritual growth. Okay, let's pull out our journals the night before on March 1st and write down what kind of Piscean growth you want to experience over these next 6 months. Maybe you want your intuition to be stronger. Maybe you want to really take your spiritual journey to a whole nother level. I know so many people are on their spiritual journey right now. And a lot of that has to do with Neptune and Jupiter going to the sign of Pisces, which is beautiful to see, but it's really a good idea. Don't fall for the charlatans. Okay. Focus on your own spiritual path. Tap into your own intuition for this new moon. Okay. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys and show you what's going on with this new moon. And I will also, again, break down some other things that are going on in the world. Okay, so for starters, I work with geocentric Western astrology. That said, we put Earth right here in the middle of this thing. These guys right here, these are all the celestial bodies. Like here's Venus, Mars, Pluto, here's Saturn and Mercury. Here's the moon, here's the sun, Jupiter, and Neptune. You can see they're all kind of close together because they're all going through the sign of Pisces. These symbols right here are the symbols for the zodiac signs that these things are beaming through on March 2nd at 9:34 a.m. Pacific time. Okay. And also keep in mind too, that we are all experiencing this. We all have this new moon in Pisces energy to, expand our spiritual journey here. But it's very much also a unique experience for each and every one of us, depending on where the sign of Pisces is in your natal chart, especially where 12 degrees Pisces is in your natal chart, what kind of connections are being made with other celestial bodies. And that's why I offer those moon readings. So if you'd like to schedule a reading, please do visit my website, erinwageastrology.com. Okay. So as we can see, the moon and the sun, they're in the same spot. This is what happens every single time we have a new moon. The sun and the moon are going to meet in the same degree, in the same sign of the zodiac. The moon is the mother, the sun is the father, and they're coming together to create this energetic baby, this Piscean energetic baby. That's why new moons create new beginnings, okay? Now, at 12 degrees Pisces, this is actually a little blend of Cancerian energy as well, applying to the sign of Cancer, which makes this an even more emotional energy, a strong tendency to even feel the emotions of others with this energy that's going on, especially if you have your sun or your rising or anything prominent around 12 degrees Pisces in your natal chart, or 12 degrees Cancer, or the sign of Scorpio as well. Those are 3 water signs. If you've got anything prominent in a water sign at 12 degrees for this new moon, then be very mindful of your emotions, but also, again, focus on the growth that you can experience over these next 6 months applying to this Piscean energy. Okay, now, and this right here is Jupiter, okay, at 14 degrees Pisces. It's 2 degrees away from this new moon. When any celestial bodies are right next to each other, they blend together and they kind of work as one. Jupiter is the great benefic. Jupiter brings expansiveness. Again, he's the ruler of faith and compassion. So he's making this even more profound, being so close to the sun and moon. And here's Neptune at 22 degrees Pisces, not necessarily super conjunct, but Neptune, again, he's the ruler of dream states, okay, and the subconscious, and really bringing in this very, very strong mystical energy. Now, something else to mention here, this really does give, going back to that, with all this energy going on in the sign of Pisces, both of Pisces rulers and the sun and the moon coming through that sign of Pisces, there is a very, very strong tendency for us to just be deluded. So be very, very mindful of that, especially from March 1st to March 3rd. Now, these guys right here, I got to talk about these guys for a minute here, because this has a lot to do with what's going on in the world. Okay. This is Pluto and this is Mars, both at 27 degrees Capricorn. Okay. Now, sign of Capricorn rules authoritarian establishments. Pluto is the destroyer. Okay. And I'm just very much generalizing this. There's really a lot more to this, but I'm going to simplify it for you guys. Pluto is the destroyer, and rules are like spiritual drive. Okay. And here is Mars, which a lot of astrologers will refer to Mars as the planet of war, because he's so dominant and masculine. He is the warrior of the heavens, okay? And he is exalted in the sign of Capricorn, meaning he's working with his greatest strength in the sign that rules over authoritarian establishments, and he's blending in with the destroyer, Pluto, okay? So, and Mars is our physical drive. So this is the physical drive and the spiritual drive blending together, creating, like, let's just say it's chaos. It's war type energy coming through this sign of authoritarian establishments. And again, everybody on Earth is receiving this energy, and not only that, but the United States is having its Pluto return right now. So this is very, very prominent. Okay. Now this right here is poor little Venus trying to come through the sign of Capricorn, conjunct these guys. Venus, she tries to soften energies. She's the influencer of love and romance, but she's really struggling right now, being right next to Pluto and Mars. But Venus also has a lot to do with finances, money. Okay. So that's playing a big part. Money and finances are playing a big part in what's going on with authoritarian establishments. Okay. Now, the reason I wanted to point those out, well, for obvious reasons, but also when you look close, you can see there's this red line that goes from here to here. This is called a semi-square aspect. It's a connection, basically a conversation that is going on between the sun and the moon and Pluto and Mars, Jupiter a little bit too, and Venus a little bit too, but mostly this is going between this new moon and the planet of war and the destroyer. Okay. And what can happen here is it's like they're challenging each other. Okay. And in fact, what can happen here is this, we'll just say this chaos that's going on in the world is very like masculine dominant energy that's coming through our authoritarian establishments. Don't let that outweigh or dominate your spiritual growth here. Okay. That's why I keep saying going inward for your spiritual growth here, because try not to get, let what's going on in the outside world overcome or, overwhelm your emotions and take over, because there's a strong tendency for that with this semi-square connection going on between these guys. So and I'm really just talking about Mars first, second, and third, but really this energy can carry on for the next 6 months, but it's going to be most powerful then. So again, really try to go inward, tap into your own intuition and focus on your own spiritual growth for a minute while we have this new opportunity for it, this new moon in Pisces. Okay, now on to some brighter things here. These right here, these blue lines going from here to here, this is the sun and moon making an opportunistic connection, a sextile aspect over to Uranus and Taurus. Now, to simplify this, Uranus is bringing very abrupt, revolutionary, and technological changes to the sign of Taurus, which Taurus is like the earth of the earth signs. So here's Uranus bringing these abrupt and revolutionary technological changes to earth, but also Taurus is very much applied to finances, okay, and material possessions. So there is this opportunity to kind of blend this spiritual growth with the abrupt changes that are going on Earth. Okay, that's something to be kind of taken into consideration here, especially when it comes to writing out your intentions for this new moon. Now, some other stuff that's going on here is this right here. This is another opportunistic connection that is going from Neptune in Pisces over to the North Node. North Node is where celestial energy comes in. Okay. And this right here is the South Node. This is where energy goes out. They are working. North Node loves to be in the sign of Taurus. That's where it is right now. South Node loves to be in the sign of Scorpio. And that's where it is right now. And hallelujah for these placements, because that sign of Taurus can be very grounded and very stabilized. And boy, do we need that this year. It's going to be very, very interesting summer because of this Taurus energy. North Node is going to go conjunct Mars and Uranus. But for right now, let's focus on this opportunistic connection that is going up to this very, very dreamy spiritual energy of Neptune going through Pisces. Opportunistic connection with what we're getting hit with, like the energy that's coming in through the sign of Taurus, very grounding. And then it's also making this very harmonious connection to where the energy goes out. So really, to put this in a nutshell, anything that's not serving you, okay, this is a good time, an opportunistic and a harmonious time to let go of the things that are not serving you, especially when it comes to your own spiritual practices, okay, because that is, again, that's involving Neptune up here. Now, these guys right here, all these aspects are really lovely. They can kind of make things easy for people who are in charge as well, which can be a little bit disruptive, but regardless, again, let's focus on ourselves here. This Pluto energy, the destroyer, is also making this harmonious connection to the energy that's coming into Earth and making this opportunistic connection with where it's going out, not just Pluto, but Mars and kind of Venus too. So there's this new moon is a really, really good time to tap in to the nodal energy that's going on right now. Again, just to repeat that again, when I say the nodal energy, I'm talking about that we're getting flooded. We're getting energy coming in through the sign of Taurus, which is grounded and stable. And it also has to do with finances as well. The energy is going out through the sign of Scorpio. So we're releasing energy. The sign of Scorpio is so good at letting energy go, flushing it out. And the energy that's going on right now, it's like basically, let's just put it blatantly here. All this war type energy that's going on, let it flow in and flow out. You know, there's a purpose for everything. Okay. So I hope I didn't offend anybody on that. I hope it just made sense to people. One more thing I'm going to mention here is these guys right here, because I really like this placement right here. This is Mercury at 19 degrees Aquarius. This is Saturn at 18 degrees Aquarius. They're right next to each other. Now, Mercury rules our consciousness, also has a lot to do with our communication skills. Mercury is the messenger of the gods. The sign of Aquarius is the genius of the zodiac. Okay. Very genius energy, very, has a lot to do with technology, has a lot to do with kind of being progressive and being ahead of the game. And then Saturn, well, hold on, digressing again for a minute here. This is Mercury works with his greatest strength in the sign of Aquarius. Mercury loves to be in the sign of Aquarius. It's really good for business meetings, that sort of thing. Really good for communication skills. And this right here is Saturn, which is in his own home in the sign of Aquarius. Saturn really likes to be in the sign of Aquarius as well. So Mercury and Saturn are both stoked to be going through this sign of Aquarius, this genius energy. Aquarius is also the sign of humanitarianism. And I keep saying this, but it just in case you haven't heard me say it yet, this Saturn going through Aquarius is so good for you humanitarian groups, gaining structure and really, and this with Mercury right there, bringing it into a conscious awareness, really, really, really good for you humanitarian groups. This is such a good placement for you guys. They're kind of standing alone. They're not really making any connections with other celestial bodies, but they will. So keep that in mind, all you people who are, you know, organizing energy that represents the people for the people. You've got some good energy for you right now. Okay, so I guess I will stop there with that. Next thing I'm going to talk about is stones. As you guys know, I like to work with stones that resonate well with the energy that the moon is transiting through. Okay, so the sign of Pisces, the zodiacal birthstone for the sign of Pisces is aquamarine, which is a beautiful stone, kind of looks like the sea, okay, the ocean. This is really, really good for traveling, especially overseas. If you're somebody who's traveling over the seas, I highly, in fact, I just flew to Mexico and home and really felt, I don't like flying at all, but I really enjoyed having my aquamarine stone with me. But it's also a really good one for calming the nerves, for bringing us into not necessarily a grounded state, but more of a calmer state in your spiritual settings, bringing it into a more calm state of mind. Aquamarine can be really good for that. Another really good stone for the Pisces energy is fluorite. Fluorite usually comes in like a purplish. You can see the purple right there, but it also comes in green. Okay, also comes in yellow, also comes in pink. Any fluorite stone is really, really good for tapping into that Piscean spiritual energy. Can be really good for heightening your intuition. Okay, but for those of you who are already, you know, not grounded and you're already super tapped in and maybe your intuition is too high right now and you're feeling too much of other people's emotions and that sort of thing, I highly, highly recommend a darker stone like my old reliable here, black tourmaline, or also tiger's iron. That's one that I've been holding on to a lot lately because these can kind of bring us back down to earth and keep us grounded. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Pisces rules the feet. It's a really good idea to pay a little extra attention to our feet when the moon is transiting through the sign of Pisces, but also Pisces rules with Virgo, the opposing energy. Virgo's over here, Pisces over here, they're opposite each other. Together, these guys rule the entire immune system. So this is, and also has a really strong influence on the lymphatic system as well. This is a really, really good time for, you know, working on the lymphatic system, doing your yoga poses, flushing out the system, focusing on your entire immune system. Again, keep in mind, this is new beginnings. My goodness, if Pisces rules your sixth house, this is an ideal opportunity for, you know, new beginnings, healthy beginnings for your physical body. And this is also, on a side note, a really good time for planting seeds. They do really, really well the next new moon is going to be, getting towards springtime. This is a really good time. Pisces is really good sort of for, the mutation or something going from a seed into a sprout. So you better believe I'm going to be sprouting some seeds for this new moon in Pisces. Okay, so I will leave it there. If you would like to schedule an astrology reading, please do reach out to erinwageastrology.com. You can either send me a message, but I highly recommend just scheduling your reading straight through my website. There's a little button on the top where it says book it. So you can just schedule straight through my website. And also I will leave links to that, or you can also email me at erinwageastrology@gmail.com. And as usual, I will also leave a full extensive list of stones that very much resonate with this Piscean energy for this new moon. And something else, going back to stones, because I like to mention this, it's important. If you're somebody who's already very, very ungrounded and very, very spiritual, you may not want to be carrying around fluorite or aquamarine or even clear crystal quartz when we're having this very, very Piscean energy come down on us, because it will make you it's like you're already operating at that frequency. You don't need any more of this, but you put these stones on top of your journal after you write down what it is you're trying to manifest with this new moon, and leave them on that journal or even just a piece of paper overnight. Preferably, to me, I like to put mine on a windowsill right where the moon transits over the sky that night. Okay, so I will leave it at that. Again, if you'd like to reach out, please do find me at erinwageastrology.com. And until next time, namaste to all of you.